WURG 94.9 The Urge, Haddonfield's home for rock.
I'm Willie the Kid, and there's nothing you can do about it. What's gonna get our moss out?
You pretend like you moved on, but you're actually just obsessed with death.
This time, he's more dangerous.
Hey, what the? I got you, you psycho! You started this!
I know you're here. I've run from you. I thought maybe you were the boogeyman. You're just a man who's about to stop breathing.
So what's going on, YouTube and Halloween fans? Welcome back to the JEFFMAN316 Pop Culture Reporter channel. I'm your host, as always, JEFFMAN316. Welcome to Let's Talk Movies, and this week we're going to Let's Talk Halloween Ends. If anybody ends up joining us, I'm willing to talk spoilers. I've watched the movie once, and then I've skimmed through it again. I've got to do my review, and I will say that I'm still a little bit torn of exactly what I'm going to say with that. But with that being said, I think that based on the reactions I'm reading, I'm not the only one. But either way, so until we get some people in here, what I'm going to do is I'll just go over what's going on now on the channel and some stuff. Anybody that joins us, I got a little beverage here. Got a little rum drink. So anybody that pops on, just throw out a comment and let me know you're here. But yeah, coming up on the channel, if you look back, obviously over the last month, I had somebody actually complain the amount of Halloween content that I've been posting. And I was like, well, number one, I joined up with the Halloween review series guys, and I've tried to remain on schedule with all that. I know some of the guys, especially Good Real Hunting, they have posted their Halloween Ends review. I think they got a regular one, non-spoiler one, and they've got a spoiler one. So I think I'm going to probably just do a non-spoiler one, but maybe mention a couple little things at the end. I don't know that I'm going to do a full-blown spoiler review, but I would like to know if anybody pops on here. Would anybody be interested in doing a watch-along? I've got a TV across from me over there, so I thought it might be cool if we did a watch-along for the movie. But either way, like I said, I thought it was cool that they debuted it early on Peacock. I saw it on Thursday night at 8 o'clock. It did worry me a little bit because one of the concerns I had was the movie going to be that popular? But when it debuted on Peacock early, I thought maybe they were worried. I just read an article that said that it may hit about 50 million on opening weekend. If anybody pops in here, does anybody remember what Halloween 2018 or Kills made in its opening weekend? Because my fear with this movie is it's so polarizing that once the first weekend is over, and it may get word of mouth of some of the negatives about the movie, is it will that box office drop off a lot, or will it remain steady? I'm not sure. But I'm just going to tell you my gut reaction. If you saw my initial reaction video that popped up on I did like a short, so it wasn't much. Was, like I said, just like now, I was torn. I didn't know what to make of the movie. It was so much different than Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills. That's not always a bad thing, and I didn't want to be one who busted on the movie just because it was so different than the other ones. So then, but I let it digest, and I got up this morning and I felt the same way. I mean, it in moments it felt like a Halloween movie, and in other moments it didn't. So I didn't know what to make of it. Like I said, I got a couple of you out there that hit me up on Instagram a lot, and we do a lot of discussing. And it really is just like I've seen on all the sites. It's so polarizing. The one person that I talked to loved the movie and was bragging about all the key points, and then I've got another viewer who was really heavy into Michael Myers, and they thought the movie was utter trash. So I'm kind of in the middle right now. I think I want to watch it again to maybe decide which side of the fence I'm on. I did enjoy it. It wasn't like, Halloween Resurrection, even back in the day when I saw that in theaters, I knew that movie was not as good as it could be or should be. And I remember even cringing in the theater during the parts that had Busta Rhymes in it. And I didn't do that here. I mean, I really thought that they did such a good job with the production and the atmosphere and the look of the movie that it would be really hard to for somebody to totally shit on it, is what I was thinking. And man, as soon as I got up this morning and hit some of the Facebook groups I'm in, there's a Halloween one, Killer Flicks, a bunch of other Facebook groups that I'm a part of. It was baffling. I didn't see anybody that was basically right down the middle with this movie. It was either love it or hate it. And speaking of mob mentality that was in Kills, I saw a couple websites that basically said that if people didn't stop arguing about it, that they were going to start kicking people out of the group. So the movie, to quote the great Bachman Turner Overdrive, you haven't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet, I guess is what they say. If you thought Halloween Kills was polarizing, holy shit, this movie is going to be even worse. So, hey, but I guess that they used to tell me when I started YouTube that any buzz or comments were good ones, whether they were good or bad. So I don't know if that's what they think about movies or not, because if you think that about movies and as much buzz as this one's going to get, I don't know if negative buzz is going to help it or not. But I've seen just as much positive comments though as negative ones. But it looks like there's a line drawn where horror movie fans and casual Halloween fans like it. And if you're a hardcore Michael Myers fan, you hate the fucking movie, that it's like the worst thing you've ever seen. And Cody's on here and said, "Hey, brother, what's going on? I know you and I talked a little bit about the movie, not much, but if you want to throw some comments out there and let anybody that's watching, we got a couple people watching. If anybody wants to let me know their opinion of it, like I said, I've watched it one full time and then I skimmed through it again about an hour or so ago because I was having to edit a video and I had it playing in the background. I really still do like the opening of the movie. I think it's pretty strong opening, but it's weird because I know the one person that I talked to is a super Michael Myers fan. One of his issues were about the opening was none of the other movies in the franchise open with something that's totally different than the actual plot of the movie as far as Laurie, Allison, Michael. All of the other movies open with something related to Michael Myers or the story as far as the whoever the main character is going to be. This one does that, but then you realize, holy shit, the main character is probably going to be this Corey guy. And to have it to where the opening doesn't have Laurie in it, doesn't have Allison, and it doesn't have Michael in it, I think is a little jarring. So I watched it just enough, like a few minutes ago, to time it. It's 40 minutes before Corey gets dragged into the sewer and you actually have the confrontation between him and Michael Myers, if that's what you want to call it. And then the second time I watched that part, I thought it was weird how it was filmed. And then you start looking at this movie and see that it's choppy in some of the editing because there's a lot of parts in the trailer that are not in the movie. And it almost seems like if you know they exist, the movie seems a little choppy. But when Corey is outside of the sewer pipe and he's knocked out, where he fell, and he gets dragged into the pipe, I'm sitting there going, Michael is obviously strong enough to drag what, a 180, 200-pound guy through that pipe. But then he disappeared. What the fuck did I know? Corey was probably knocked out for a little while and laid there. But what was the point of Michael dragging him into the pipe, the sewer pipe, and down into the sewer, if he was then going to disappear? And then when Corey wakes up and he's rambling around, walking around in there, and then goes next to that little crack in it or whatever, Michael reaches through. Like, why wasn't Michael there with him? So I was a little confused there of why Michael would drag him in there and then just leave. And then, or maybe, like I said, maybe it was a little bit of time that we're not aware of, that he was laying there unconscious. And then when he wakes up, Michael's off doing something else. So maybe Michael was cleaning up for him when he got, before he got in there. Had some cool kills. I think if it wasn't a Halloween movie, it would have been better. It reminded me of when a cheap movie gets a name star to be in it and then advertise like he's the star. Yeah. It's weird that if you look at it, Allison is in it more than Laurie and Michael, which is fine. And, but the advertising that they did for this movie is basically bait and switch, because everything, points to Michael and Laurie being in a majority of this movie, but he's only in it for a scene. I don't even know if Michael would be considered a secondary character. Yeah, it's kind of weird. So Peter says, appreciate you stopping by, man. Love the duality of when she saw Corey's hand and said, "You're infected," meaning him along with his hand. Yeah, that was kind of cool. I was talking to Peter earlier where I sent him a text. There's one of the really super Michael Myers fans that chats with me all the time. And he was saying that he liked it because Corey and Michael connected, when Michael touched him, and he thought that he saw Michael's power in essence go into Corey, and that's when he turned pure evil. And I told him I didn't believe that that's exactly what happened, that I don't 100% believe that there's anything supernatural with the Michael Myers in this timeline. That if you look really close, you can see Michael's reflection in Corey's eyes when he's down there. And I think basically, Corey at that point has already pretty much snapped. And then him and Michael share a moment. But I don't think that there's anything like Michael possesses him. And one guy even said that they thought that the hobo, when he said, "I'm Michael Myers," had been possessed by Michael at some point. And I was like, I think you guys are reading way too much into this. These guys pretty much in this production, I thought, were thinking that Michael is basically a man or a superhuman. But I don't think he's anything about being possessed. Roseblood Michael Myers could defeat Enz Myers all day, every day. Hey, appreciate the super chat. And that is true, because your Michael Myers was, super evil and badass. But this one obviously is weak as hell. And before you go, I don't know how long you can stay. I was going to ask you one thing you thought. He said, "Sup, Cody?" And then he said, "Hey, Peter." So, Cody says, "I thought the Corey stuff with his hand was strange. He kept unwrapping the bandages when he was evil." Yeah, I didn't know. That was one of the things I was going to mention. Like when he leads, Michael follows him, not he leads. And that was one of the things that, if you've been watching a lot of my videos, I didn't say everything that I had heard because I didn't believe it all. And one of the guys who kept feeding me information said that the two of them were working together and Corey was bringing Michael with him everywhere. And I don't think that's the case. I think Michael basically followed him. But I don't even think Corey knew that Michael was going to show up there and kill the girl. But I just thought it was weird that they cut scenes out all over the place, because when I was skimming back through it again, I realized that in most of the trailers, they showed the doctor's body upside down in the pool when she screams and sees it, and they cut that totally out of the movie. You don't see anything related to I like the kill better, with him sitting there with basically the bag around the doctor's head and him stabbing him with it with a knife. But I thought it was weird that they made, with some of the cuts that they made, Michael followed him into Michael stalking Laurie's thing. He followed him to Laurie's house, following him there. But a lot of people were like, well, Corey at that point had a motorcycle, and if he was on a motorcycle, how could he get there so fast. And Michael, how could he walk when he was, basically half a man at that point? Michael followed him. Yeah, okay. I was going to make sure I got that comment. But I don't know. Like I said, I think what's happening is people are so polarized and they're reading so much into the Michael Myers thing, as far as they're looking for every hook that they can to make Michael more important to the plot. And I just don't think it's there. I think this version of Michael is basically, it's like I always think. I was telling somebody at work today when we were talking about it, Michael's down in that sewer pipe, and he had, other than dragging some people in every now and then, he had basically been to the point where his head was up against the wall so much he had mold on his mask that he hadn't moved at all. And he almost had atrophy is what I was thinking of. Somebody that just lays there in a bed and doesn't move, you're going to get basically atrophy. And he had an infected hand. So basically his body was starting to deteriorate. Big studio movies actually shoot trailer scenes. The last few Phase 3 Marvel movies had 50% of the trailer that was never in the movie. As a trend now to mislead or keep plot secrets. I know that, but they were already, the biggest plot point was Corey being the main character and being the quote unquote, I don't call him a copycat, because he basically was trying to mimic Michael, but I don't think that he went into it the saying, that I'm going to be a copycat killer. It was until he bumped into Michael and kind of got the idea. But either way, I just thought it was misleading. All of the marketing for this thing I think is leading to some of the polarizing reviews that you're reading online, because 3/4 of the fight scene between Laurie and Michael's in all the trailers and TV spots, and there's not a lot of spots in the movie other than what you saw. I just think that it's so polarizing, because everybody assumed that it was Michael. Now, if you follow the channel and watch the videos, once I found out how important this Corey character was, I didn't give away, like I said, all of the things that I'd heard, because I only pieced together the things that I heard and then could see in the TV spots. I tried to basically warn a lot of people of, you're going to be pissed if you go into this movie thinking that it's all about Michael Myers. And I think that's what it is. I mean, they're casual horror fans, moviegoers that didn't read a lot of stuff online are going to go into this movie thinking that's all Laurie and Michael, and they're going to be big time disappointed. I just don't get the payoff of Corey. If he's going to be set up to contribute the franchise, that's fine, but he dies at the end, so it doesn't really add up. Well, I'll talk about it in a minute. There is an ending that was filmed, one of the 3 different ones, where Corey did not die, and I think that was the difference between the last 2 screenings of what they did with his character. And I guess this is the one where got the most positive reaction. The one scene that I did not like and that made Michael very weak is when Corey beats him hand to hand easy and steals his mask and yells, "You're just an old man in the mask." Yeah, I didn't like that one either. When I was scanning back through it, I wanted to watch all the parts that Michael was in, so obviously I didn't have to watch much of the movie. But yeah, that was the one part, because if before that Michael kind of, when he stabbed the cop that followed Corey down there, it's almost like somebody told me they thought that he got his power back, and it's sort of like that. It's almost like he had an adrenaline rush, and like I said, I think parts of his body basically hadn't moved in so long. It's almost like he broke free. Like I said, I was kind of calling it like it was almost like atrophy. It was almost like now he's got movement again. Now his adrenaline's pumping, his blood's pumping, he's ready to go. He did that and basically looked like he was standing up straight and he could go. And then, the next time Corey comes down there, Corey beats the shit out of him and steals his mask. The Michael going almost into convulsions when he finally kills somebody was odd. Yeah, that was the part I was just talking about. Like, he kills the cop. And see, that was a part that somebody told me in one of the versions. There was multiple cops that got killed, and that supposedly one of the versions they saw, Michael killed the first cop, and Corey had told him, "I want you to show me how to do it." And they said that Michael literally hands the knife to Corey and kills the second one. I think that was just somebody blowing smoke. I don't see that ever being filmed. I don't think Michael would hand his knife over to anybody like that. It would have been worse than what we got. But with that being said, 40 minutes in, and we're just getting a taste of Michael Myers. I think that's the second thing I was thinking that was polarizing. Like I said, number one is you got the opening and it doesn't have any of the legacy characters in it. It's all Corey. And then you go into the titles. Now I will say this, I don't know. I noticed it, and I mentioned it, that I didn't unlike the font, but the picture that somebody had sent me, the title card looked white, and then you watch it and it's blue. I don't know if anybody caught that he followed the pattern of Halloween 1, 2, and 3 in the title cards. The font used in 2018 is the same one from 78. The font used from Halloween Kills was the same from Halloween 2. And the blue font that was used in Halloween Ends matches Halloween 3 Season of the Witches opening font. So he matched those up to the original 3 movies. So I thought that was kind of cool. How far-fetched was that relationship with Allison and the cop? He does not seem like he could pull her. Well, not just pull her. I mean, at first he seemed like he was a lot older, but I'm wondering if that was one of the things where they tried too hard to make Allison seem like she would understand what was going on with Corey because of what she had been through over the last 4 years. And that's what I think one of the main problems I see with this movie. I was talking about this with somebody earlier, that I think this would have been better as the middle chapter of the movie, and you could have spread out to where introduce Corey and have it to where somebody thinks he's the killer and he's trying to prove that he's not, or maybe he is, you don't know. And then towards the end of the movie, you actually find out Michael's alive and he has a confrontation with Laurie. Don't have her kill him in the middle one and then have that happen in the last one. But the fact that you're introducing him in the third movie of the trilogy when you should be wrapping up stories was the theme of all the videos that I did leading up to this. Is I still feel that way, is that you don't add characters and it's Peter mentioned it, and I thought it too, that it was almost like they Skywalker this, like it was the Rise of Skywalker. Like they realized that the Halloween Kills was polarizing and they wanted to do something different, but it was too different. They got to realize this franchise has been going on so long that people are rooting for Michael Myers. The people go into these movies rooting for the villain most of the time. How many kills are going to get? What's going to be the best kill? Why do you think there's rankings of masks, rankings of kills, rankings of the movies? They root for the bad guys, and then to not have the original bad guy that started this thing 44 years ago be the focal point of this. I just think that they went into this and they didn't have enough plot for 3 movies. They had a plot for maybe 2.5 movies, and they didn't know what to do, and they filled it in. They wasted too much of the plot in Halloween Kills. I think they crammed way too much of that in there. And then you had characters like Lindsay you could have done so much more with. That's another thing. They filmed scenes in the behind the scenes stuff that they showed on YouTube. They showed scenes of Lindsay at Laurie's house, carving pumpkins and doing something else. There was a lot of footage, obviously, that wasn't used. And I'm wondering, because of all the screenings, how poorly some of, at least 2 of them did. They just literally didn't know how to edit this thing together. It was like, it was a cluster, and this is the best they could do to piece it together and make a movie. Now, like I said, I enjoyed it as far as a horror movie, but as far as Halloween, I 100%, as a movie reviewer, I'm trying to be a little unbiased. I 100% see both sides of this, but I'm leaning towards liking the movie more. But I think part of the thing that helped me is all the months of preparation I went into it knowing that Michael was not going to be the focal point, and your casual moviegoer didn't have the opportunity to do that. But Halloween, the first one, is like my second favorite movie, so I was trying to do everything I could to prepare myself. Also, in Halloween 2018, Michael hasn't killed in 40 years, and although we didn't see them happening, he didn't seem to struggle to kill anybody when the bus crashed and he escaped. Yeah, like I said, I think they did too much damage to Michael in the last movie, and they didn't have any route to go, so they basically said a normal man that gets all that damage, if we're not going to have him supernatural, he's going to be weak as hell. So him being weak and unable to move after 4 years seems strange. Well, like I said, I think it was more of the damage that he's done. I mean, he had a pitchfork in the back. He got stabbed in the shoulder blade. He got shot multiple times. He got beaten down. I mean, if you looked at his mask, how much blood was on it, a lot of that blood was his own too. He had sustained so much damage in those 2018 and kills that, and then with his hand being, half blown off, I know a lot of people, that's another angle. They've said that, well, Michael's had damage in all these movies and he was able to survive. Like I said, this is not the same Michael Myers. Everybody needs to wipe from their memory everything that happened in Halloween 2 through all the way up to 2018. It's a totally different character. He didn't sustain all the damage. The damage that he got at the end of Halloween 78, he immediately got medical attention because they captured him. So there wasn't any of these gaps where he went off on his own and needed to heal. He had medical attention. This time he didn't. Oh, I forget. He got some damage from that room temp iron. Now it makes sense. You talking about the lady with the iron? Yeah, that was stupid as hell. But yeah, I don't know. But like I said, this movie, man, is I'm worried about it as far as I'm glad that this is the third in the trilogy, because if this was the second one, and they were going to make another one, I don't know. I think word of mouth is going to kill this damn thing by week 2. He got hit with an iron, possibly. Yeah, that lady with that iron, you didn't see whether she got a good shot in on him or not. Like I said, if you consider him a man, where he's at in this movie is believable. But what I didn't like is if you got that scene where he kind of hulks up after killing that cop, why do that scene if you're not going to build anything off of it? Like the very next scene, he gets beat down by Corey. And then the next time you see him, he stabs the girl up against the wall, and you're like, oh, he's got some power back to him because he's got enough strength to hold her up with one hand and stab her onto the wall with the other. And then you don't see him again, and the next time he's walking in, to Lori's house, and he's going to attack her. They weren't consistent with how they handled him, even in the small parts that he was in. This movie will drop. This movie will drop like a rock next week. That's what I think. So, that's one of the main issues with this. Like I said, is that it's getting so much hatred online from hardcore Michael Myers fans, and I think that's what's going to be the one that would hurt it. This movie will probably have the backlash that Halloween 3 got when it came out. If social media was around, expecting a Michael Myers Halloween movie, not getting it. Yeah, I think that's 100%. You shortened up what I was trying to say. The marketing of this does not tell the casual moviegoer that they're not getting a Michael Myers Halloween movie. There was one of you guys, the viewers, that always hits me up on Instagram, and he basically was like kind of glad that I had put out a lot of my videos speculating that was going to be one of the main issues, that this Corey guy was going to take too much screen time, because it was kind of like me. It like sort of prepared you, even though you didn't see a lot of the footage of how Michael was going to be used or not. It did at least prepare you for the fact that you may have another character in there taken up. I did not think that Michael was going to be in there for as little as he was. And whenever I do my review, that'll be the biggest negative of he's underutilized. I don't know. I do think that the Corey character was kind of interesting the way they wrote it. Being bullied like that and then actually shunned by the entire town would obviously could lead to someone going down the path he did, but not seeing the 4 years or any of the 4 years, it doesn't help build up the character. It's like they crammed too much context in it and didn't have enough exposition explaining it, because they're just assuming that, based on trauma, what somebody would go through. Hey, we showed you that scene at the beginning. That should be enough to tell you exactly how he's feeling and why he's feeling it. And the only time they really ever try to explain it is when the mother runs him out of the damn bar, and he is walking down the road with Allison and basically tells her, you don't know how I feel. You are considered a hero because you dealt with Michael Myers. And was basically blamed for killing the kid, and nobody wants to have anything to do with me. So I thought it was a little far fetched that maybe Allison was willing to leave town so easily with him. And then I started thinking, well, I don't know, man. She was pretty shaken with the way Lori acted in the first two movies. So if her parents were dead and Lori was acting the way she was, maybe she didn't want to turn into Lori. Maybe she wanted to get away from some of that. And maybe that's why she was more willing to listen to Corey or whatever. But um, yeah, like I said, I mean, I've seen some really big arguments, and I love it when people will argue back and forth with you for like 10 minutes on Facebook, and then somebody will drop a comment of, well, it's only a movie. And I don't know, but I mean, think about it. That's why people like me and Peter and everybody have YouTube channels and do content and all that kind of stuff is because movies are so subjective. And hey man, Halloween 78 is my second favorite movie, and I've spent a lot of my life as a fan of that. And dude, I spent hard-earned money going to see all this the other trash sequels. So I mean, I'm gonna definitely see the newest one, but I don't think we got what they advertised, I guess the good way to put it. How James U. Courtney allowed that man, I guess, money. David Gordon Green is not a director. I like his style, and writing just bad. Well, I mean, I think the writing in this one was actually pretty good. The cringe dialogue from Halloween Kills was gone. The character of Lori was actually written pretty well. I almost think this was one of the better versions of Lori that we've gotten. Um, I just don't. I think that it was too much to try to cram into one movie. Like I said, maybe Corey should have been introduced in one of the other movies, as maybe he'd be a little bit younger and went to school with Allison. Well, I guess she would probably be about 21 now too. I think that's what age he said. Yeah, because it's 4 years later. So maybe they could have went to school together. Maybe she would have known him previously from school. Something needed to connect them together in one of the previous movies to make me feel like I'm going to believe that they could have got an instant connection. Did what she go through really make it to where, I mean, her and that cop must have had like the worst relationship ever if she's willing to just jump off and go in and get with Corey. Allison wrote terrible. Yeah, I think Allison was a little weak, but I really do think that Lori was written well. Her writing her book and being signed kind of like a narrator at the beginning and end, and her basically warning Allison of what could be as far as she, it didn't get close to the cringeworthy dialogue, but she did sort of in that bar when she was telling him she saw it in his eyes. I thought for a minute she was going to go down that path where she was going to start doing all that silly exposition again, but she didn't. I saw there were 4 writers credited. It makes you wonder how many rewrites happened. Well, from what I heard originally, the movie was written to where it was going to basically be like the third chapter of the same night. David Gordon Green and Danny McBride wanted this to be one, the story sequential over a night or two. And then the pandemic hit. And then they started second guessing themselves, knowing that they weren't going to be able to film it. And it was going to be a time gap between when they filmed it, when it was released. And they wanted to punch up the movie and make it. And so they got some partners in, and they're the ones that helped come up with this idea of making, giving it more of a plot. I mean, if you think about it, it's not 100% a slasher movie. It's almost like a psychological horror movie because it's got well-rounded characters. Like I said, it's 40 minutes of screen time before you see Michael and before Corey does anything significant. So it's a lot of exposition in there. But I will say the good thing about it is they sprinkle Lori in, they sprinkle Hawkins in, and I really do think that Hawkins should have been used more. I mean, he's kind of pathetic, and if you're going to have Hawkins in there, at least have him and Lori hooking up. I mean, Jesus Christ. I think that they wasted a lot of legacy characters as far as Lindsay, and then I think Tommy got wasted in the last movie. But I really think that it would have done them. The movie would have been a lot better if they had, like I said, introduced Corey earlier. The bullies, terrible dialogue. Yeah, but they were punk kids anyway. I mean, I don't know that anybody really believed anything that they would have said anyway. I think All in One Night trilogy would have been good, although hard to keep it nonstop for an entire night to spread across 3 movies. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe it would have been probably 2 nights, because that, it would have been Halloween and you would have went into the night, and then with the fire, and then the next day with her in the hospital would have been the day after. And somebody else mentioned that to me, is that Halloween, most of the core elements of the movies always happen on the actual Halloween holiday. And they did that in this. I mean, if like once the heart of the movie starts, there's a title card that comes up and says October 31st. But I don't think they played, even though there's a lot of Halloween elements, like you see her lighting a pumpkin, they have that one little party where they go dress up. It doesn't have that fall feel, like that Halloween time feel like a lot of the other movies do. I mean, they got out there riding on motorcycles and shit like it's Top Gun. Lori teleported out of the house. Corey teleports to the radio station. Editing is a huge negative with this creative team. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. It seems choppy. Him showing up behind her. Like somebody, was talking to me on Facebook, and I was telling Peter this in a text earlier, that they keep saying that Michael and Corey are now connected, and that they have powers, and that they can teleport. And I was like, what? That doesn't even make any sense. They didn't really teleport, because they were like, oh, he teleported in Halloween Kills when he went in behind Karen because he wasn't there, and then he randomly appears. And I was like, that's the frustrating part that I get. People don't understand editing and how a poor editing job can make that, or they want a jump scare and they edit it that way. That doesn't mean they teleport. Like it was supposed to be almost funny in Friday the 13th part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan is the worst case of Jason teleporting ever, because like he's down on the street in one scene, somebody enters a building, and like 2 seconds later he's throwing him out through the window. That's done on purpose. There's nobody teleporting in this movie. It's like you said, it's either edited, chopped, it's chopped up in the editing poorly, or they do it to make it a jump scare. It's done on purpose, but nobody's teleporting. I mean, why does everybody think Michael has to be supernatural, can do that kind of shit? I don't know. Or maybe do October 30th through November 1st, and you could do day before and day after. Yeah, that's a good point. You could have maybe introduced Corey during either 2018 or the end of it, and be like the day before Halloween, and then maybe have it on Halloween when the key parts of this trilogy happen. And then how about have it to where he survived he could have been one of her friends that survived an attack by Michael, and that kind of affected him. I don't know. I think it hurt the movie starting it with him and then time jumping 4 years, and then not being able to give enough exposition of what really happened during those 4 years, and just expecting us to believe that, hey, Lori had trauma. This boy got accused of killing a kid. Of course, he's going to have trauma as well. And then like Hawkins was a member of the police department. And he's talking to Lori in the grocery store, and he's telling her like, oh yeah, he's a good kid. He went through some tough times. I'm like, well, if he knew what was going on or whatever with the kid, he didn't seem like he was too concerned that how traumatized he would have been. But one of the character to me that was the worst written character was Corey's mother. I don't know what they did with that. And then they cut half of they cut all of the battle where Corey kills his mother out. The dumbasses released still photos in multiple magazines, including Entertainment Weekly and I think a Total Film, where they legit were doing publicity shots of Corey with the knife coming down on his mother, and you could tell it was Corey. I even had a video where I was pointing out that anytime Corey had a knife in his hand, number one, his hands were clean, but number two, if you couldn't see them, his coveralls had elastic around their wristband and Michael's didn't. But they cut out all that. And I don't know if you watched it, there's multiple scenes at the beginning where they zoom in and show Corey's finger to point out that he's got a ring on it. And then all of the key scenes in the trailers where everybody was like, look, there's Corey. Hey, there's Michael. Hey, there's Corey. They didn't have to do that for two reasons. Number one, they cut out all the parts that show Corey's hand with the ring on it. So there was no need to do that. Number two, Michael didn't fucking kill anybody. It was, you knew exactly when Corey was going to be the one going to kill somebody. He either wore that cheesy scarecrow mask or he took Michael's mask, and then there wasn't two masks. So like a lot of people speculated. So you always knew when it was Corey and when it wasn't. So I almost wish that if you were going to put Corey in there, that you did make it really ambiguous of when it was Corey and when it was Michael, because you could have built up the tension of the relationship with Corey and Allison and Corey and Lori if you didn't know whether Corey was the one really killing people or not. Having the viewer know that Corey is the one killing takes away most of the suspense. I'm not giving any credit to these guys. It did not feel or look anything like Halloween. This movie is 0 out of 5. I have nothing good to say about the film. Absolutely nothing. All right. Well, I mean, that goes, like I said, I've heard that exact opinion from people. And then I got bashed when I said, it's not great, but I liked it. I liked the movie. But like I said, I've got a different perspective. I already knew all the Corey stuff going into it. For 2 months, I've thought about it and said, I'm not going to let it bother me. I can 100% see, though, how jarring it is for somebody who didn't know the plot, go into it blind and feel like they got cheated. So I don't know. And I'm trying to be, I say this and I don't want to sound like an asshole. I'm trying to be an unbiased movie reviewer, and I know I don't do a lot of movie reviews, and I'll do a movie review and get 100 people that watch it. So I'm not anybody on YouTube yet to be bragging, but if I ever did, I want to be fair to movies. And one of the things I always say, if you watch any of my videos, I try to find out at least one positive in everything I watch. Keith, what about the Van Damme cameo? Yeah, you're talking about when he was watching the movie in the junkyard. I thought that was funny. So I like little things like that they make movies more realistic when they throw little things in there like that about. And I'm assuming that was Corey's stepdad. I was talking to Peter about that. I saw Sandra live. My theater exploded with what the fuck and moans so ridiculous. Yeah, you know who moans when that shit happens? The people that do the dead meat kill counts, because they killed off Hawkins in their kill count in Halloween 2018, and then he lived, and then they killed off Sandra and Kills, and now she's still alive where she can't speak. And I was like, there's plenty of other characters that you could have done something with. I think that was a little bit ridiculous. Yeah, bringing her back. There was no need to bring her back. That was silly as hell. Nothing. It was an epic fail. Yeah. All right. So I'll tell you the same thing. You knew the plot. I'm gonna tell you the same thing I said to somebody today. Don't look at it as a Halloween movie. Look at it as a regular movie and try to think of two positives. There's no way you didn't like the score. The score was excellent. The scene when they go to the junkyard and that theme was that music was really good. And I like like I was telling somebody, if you don't like anything, how about the score or the soundtrack? You get Don't Fear the Reaper, which is like an homage to the Rob Zombie movies at the end credits. I liked. I thought it was weird the way they opened it with the radio station playing. And if you guys missed it, I'll put that on my little opening. So go back and watch it when we're done. There was a cut of this movie where the radio station and the radio tower were 100% important because they were thinking that it was what helped give Michael some of his power. And then he actually dies on the tower. So supposedly that was the cut that they said was awful and nobody liked any of it. So that being said, you could tell the radio tower, they had filmed so much of that shit with the radio tower and the radio station that they had to do something cool to try to use some of that footage. Because if not, man, I mean, there literally sounds like there could have been 3 cuts of this movie, and they would have had been like 6 hours worth of footage they could have shown. And then they edited it down. But I'm just, like I said, the main 2 things I think most people are pissed off about is they went into it thinking it was a Michael Myers movie, and you don't get any Myers whatsoever in this movie. As far as what is it? He's probably in like 10 minutes of the movie. The score was the worst of the 3. I'll admit that. I mean, the other 2 scores are better, but it's still good. I like a lot of it. Yeah, well, it says not one thing was positive for me. I mean, I respect your opinion. I liked a lot of the movie. The score is great, and so were the kills. I didn't hate it. It just was not what I would expect for the end. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like they wrote a movie that was in the Halloween universe, like in the multiverse of Haddonfield, and then they tagged on the end, which should have been in Halloween Ends. Not because, and I know if one of my main guys hears me say this, he's going to be pissed, but oh well. I mean, I'm not here. I can't please everybody. You knew Michael was going to die. Jamie Lee Curtis was so fucking pissed with the way they handled H2O's in that she forced them to kill her character off in the first 10 minutes of Halloween Resurrection. As an executive producer of this movie, she has died multiple times or been written out multiple times. There was no way that Michael was not going to be the one that died. So going into it, the 2 things that I tried to prepare people for on my channel is I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was going to be people either thinking that the movie was total garbage or they were going to love it. Is prepare for Corey and prepare for, not having as much Michael Myers in the movie. And so I've been talking about it for 2 months. I even had one guy tell me, man, is that all you're going to talk about is Halloween? And I was like, well, I did sign up for that review series, and we promised, we would do do all those reviews. And while you're doing it, it's real easy to talk about Halloween in other videos. So with that being said, Peter's already been on here and did an actual live ranking with me. Keith, you say that you hate the movie, so you think Halloween Ends is legit worse than Resurrection? Because if you're going to use like one person was like they disrespected Michael, well, that movie totally disrespected Michael as well, and it was, to me, the plot of that movie was way worse than Halloween Ends. So I already know there's at least one movie that I would rank below it. I'm sure you're glad to move on to other reviews. The series reviews you did were a blast to watch, though. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I probably would have waited normally for my channel to have be more established and people watch it. But hey, man, the opportunity came along, and I've learned a lot. Like I've told you guys by doing those reviews, as far as how to do edit and green screens and all kinds of stuff. So I thought it was very valuable for me to do it. I'm not going to jump head first into another review series anytime soon. If I do anything like that, it'll probably be like I might do some tier lists or some rankings or something like that. And Keith says yes. So your answer is you think it's worse than Resurrection? Wow. Resurrection had the Myers house and he killed Lori, so yeah, it was better. Yeah, I'll already tell you. I mean, I don't know exactly where I'm gonna put in, so I won't tell you that. But Halloween 1 is number 1. Halloween 2 is number 2 for me. And the reason I do that is I like the fact that they're basically one movie. You can easily watch them together. I've even got the guy who does fan cuts and stuff online. I've got the cut where he put the 2 movies together. It's an excellent watch to watch the whole thing. I love Halloween 3. I don't know that I'm going to rank that one third, though. Probably right now it's a toss up between 2018 and Halloween 4 will be what I would do number 3. So that's probably going to be 3 and 4. You can put those there. I don't know where I'm going to put Ends, though. My least favorite, my 2 least favorite are Resurrection is last and Halloween 5 is right above that. So Ends to me is going to come definitely higher than those two. And probably Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is going to be down there. And I think I like Ends better than that. I think I like it better than Curse of Michael Myers. So it's probably going to be right in the middle, which is kind of where I'm at. I haven't decided yet, but I think I'm one of the few people that I've read about on a lot of these Facebook groups that it's legit kind of right down the middle. I like things about it and I hate things about it. It's not one of my favorites, but I've got others that I don't like that I hate more. Most everybody's like you like I hate the movie and I don't like it and I'm not going to watch it again. Or they're like, oh, I'm so glad they went and did something totally different. I will say that though, how much rent cycle repeat can you stand, man? I mean, what would you want? What would you have wanted the plot to be based on what happened in Halloween Kills? If Halloween Kills has to stand the way it is, Ends is dead last for me. All right, well, back up to what I just said. If Halloween Kills, you can't change it. Coming off of the end of Kills, what would you have done in the third one? Would you have headed to where he killed Lori and basically stalked Allison and Lori the whole movie? I mean, how many movies are you going to have it where Michael just basically stalks the same people that were left over from the previous movie? I think they tried to do something different. If they had, I think they're going to get, everybody's going to be pissed because they didn't market it that way. And I do, like I said, they better make all the damn money they can make during week one because I sure as hell don't think that this movie is going to hold up like Halloween 2018 kept getting good buzz, good buzz, good buzz. This movie is going to start getting negative buzz from all the fans. I don't know what they were thinking. Either way. So you think it's better than Rob Zombie's Halloween 2? Really? Wow. Like I said, I mean, that's the reason I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to get you guys feedback on it because it's going to be really hard for me to rank. I think it'd be really easy to rank everything else, but I don't. But where to put Ends in there, I don't know. You don't have any positives whatsoever. You don't think any of the acting. I thought the actor that played Corey did a really good job. I think Allison was written poorly, but the actress she's a good actress. I think if they had given her some good material, but I do think the version of Lori in this is much better than most of the other versions of her. Yelling, screaming, traumatized is one thing, but I really thought the way that they had her character more grounded and prepared to just accept whatever was happening. She was ready for either Corey to kill her or for Michael to kill her. And like I said, he's a 70-year-old man. I mean, at this point, I think it would have been a little ridiculous to have him live again. I mean, what are you going to do with the character? Are you going to just have him go off into the night and nobody ever knows what happens to him, and have it more likely where he just goes into the sewer or the forest and dies? Allison was supposed to have gone missing at the end of Kills. That's a start. They go out to try to find her. Michael's still on a roll. And I guess. So why would she have been missing? Her mother died. She was right there with the police on the step before her mother got up. I mean, why would wonder how she would have went missing. Speaking of missing, if they had concentrated more on Michael than Corey, I think a lot of people I know he's 65, dude, but I mean with his time jump 4 years, so he's probably a little older than that, because this really wasn't going to be 2022. They didn't say the date, but it time jumped 4 years after the last one. So if the last one was last year in our time and it time jumped 4 years, either way, a 66-year-old man that's got all that damage, That's what they had planned. I don't think that plot's any better. I don't see how he can be on a roll. I'm just saying he got some pretty significant damage. You're going to have to give him some time to where he's got to heal a little bit. I mean, if he was, I was telling somebody he can't be but so supernatural. He broke into somebody's house and was bandaging his own hand up. So he was having some pain and some problems with that. I wasn't going to mention this, but I did think of it, and Peter and I were laughing and saying that this would be a good idea. You know that she slept with Corey. How about the next? How about they make another one to where Allison is pregnant, and if you were going to have Jamie Lee Curtis in it, you could have it to basically where she doesn't want her to have the baby in case it's quote unquote evil, and then maybe somebody trying to stop Lori from going to stop Allison from having the baby. Hey man, I don't like ends. It's an effing mess. Like I said, I respect your opinion. I know it's a mess, but it's got a lot of good points to it. I like it. As far as a movie, it's definitely not in my top 5 or 6 Halloween movies. I really do love 2018. Give me your opinion on Kills. What do you think of Kills? Kills would have been in the middle of the pack or maybe low for me. And I've watched it 2 or 3 times in the last couple of months, and every time I watch it, I like it better. But I always fast forward through the Evil Dies Tonight hospital scene. If you don't have to watch that part, the rest of that movie is good. I know Peter Anthony, when he was talking to me, he doesn't like Halloween Kills at all. I think the first 30 minutes of Halloween Kills is some of the best Halloween you've ever gotten. The finding out Hawkins was alive, the flashback scene, the house, finding out how Michael got out, the firefighter scene. I don't mind them at the bar, figuring out where the legacy characters, how they're tied into it. I love the first parts of Halloween Kills. I think it's way better than the first 30 minutes of Halloween 2018. If you love Kills, you will hate Ends, period. That's not true. I don't love Kills. I like Kills, but I like some of Ends as well. Kills is better than H18 minus the hospital jump. Now, I disagree with that. The overall movie of 2018, I think I like better than Kills. I didn't hate Ends. No, neither did I. Love is not going to be a word I use with it. I like it. It's a good movie, but like I said, I think I had already all the hatred and venom for Ends had already been spewed on my channel over the last 2 months, and I'm to the point now where I was basically ready for anything, and I'm not satisfied with it, but I'm content, I guess is a good word to put it. I got 2018 3 times better than Kills. I don't know. I need to go back and look at your ranking, Peter. All right. Well, since you're on here, we obviously don't have to go back through your ranking. Where do you put Ends? Is it better than Resurrection? Is it better than Halloween 5? Is it better than Curse? Is it better than Rob Zombie's Halloween 2? Where you put it? People who loved Kills want a Michael movie. So but they got their Michael movie with Kills. This is the Lori movie / Corey movie. Yeah, Ends. Yeah, Michael's movie was Halloween Kills. I guess you'd say Lori, if you want to think of the 3 main characters that I consider the main characters. Lori got her movie in 2018. Michael got his movie in Kills, and this one is more Allison. Of the 3 characters, she's in this more than Lori and more than Michael. But yeah, Peter, do you? I was asking Keith. He said that it Ends is his least favorite. Ends, H5's Resurrection, Rob Zombie 2. Yeah, it's sort of down there with me too. But I do think those 3, you and I might have those in a different order. Because Resurrection, I think, is my least favorite of all. I really do think that it's better than those three. I agree. I hate Halloween 5. I thought Halloween 4 had one of the greatest endings set up in the history of horror movies. And 5 came along and took the biggest pile of shit on it that it could possibly pick up and dump on top of it. And Loomis is a creep. I can't stand him. So, yeah, I've got 10 days to post my ends review, which is why I wanted to talk about it a little bit to see if you guys that show up on here were as polarized as the Facebook group that I was Facebook groups I was looking in today, because I think, like I said, I think I'm one of the few that only had, that's kind of like right in the middle, that kind of sees both ways. And I'd be remiss before we get off here, because I don't know how much longer I was on here. Obviously, I saw that first Peter announced that the great Ted White died. That's pretty sad, man. I mean, he was one of my favorite Jasons as well. I don't think he was my 100% favorite. I think I still like Kane Hodder from Friday 7 is my favorite, but he would definitely be my second favorite. So that's pretty sad. We're getting old to the point, man, where we're starting to lose some of the greats. I hate that. Let's face it, there's only one movie without Michael, but Michael in Ends was ridiculous. So Halloween is a franchise based on Michael Myers. The franchise is, but not this trilogy. This trilogy is based on Laurie Strode. There's no way that Jamie Lee Curtis come back if she wasn't going to be the centerpiece. And you see the results of that. I think her influence 100% decided how this movie was going to be handled and how the plot was going to go. If you watch those interviews she did and see how much she hated how they treated her character in H2O/Resurrection, she was never going to let that happen again. I do 100% think she lobbied for it to end the way that it ended. Speaking of that, if you had to kill Michael Myers, what did you guys think of the ending, how they did it? Because I've got somebody who told me one time, and I didn't forget it, that the way that people try to kill themselves in movies is so fake that you don't do straight across your wrist, that you do down, so you can make sure you hit one of the main arteries. And I do like the fact that they did that on his wrist, where they basically went like at an angle so that there's no way that he would have survived. So, what did you think of the very end? I wanted them both to die poetically. Yeah, I was hoping that that maybe she would get like severely injured, and that Allison would help her kill Michael, and then Laurie, maybe because of the amount of blood loss, maybe she would have died, and that would have been cool. But she got to witness Michael die before she did. I thought that would have been cool. Here's his ranking real quick. Halloween 1, 2, 4, 18. Rob Zombie 1, H2O. Dude, you had Curse big more than Halloween 3? Huh. I thought, I don't know. And then Ends, H5, Resurrection, Rob Zombie 2. You know, I watched that Rob Zombie 2. I don't know if you watched my review. I actually liked it a little bit more. I read that one. Exactly. Jamie Lee Curtis came back for revenge for H2O and Resurrection, but she could have made Resurrection better if she cared about the franchise. She is not for me. Yeah, I didn't like her in she was wasted in Halloween 2. She was basically in a hospital, and then they did the same damn thing to her in Halloween Kills. They put her in the hospital, and she didn't do anything other than some of the worst exposition there in the history of movies. Some of that dialogue that she was spouting off. Maybe she was on too many painkillers, but either way, let's look at his ranking again real quick. I'm trying to decide. I don't know how. Peter says, I'm out. Talk to you later, my friend. See you, buddy. Like I said, I want to get you back on here and we'll talk some stuff other than Halloween one day. Now that all this will be over with soon. But let me get his ranking back up on there real quick. Halloween 1, 2, 4, 18. I may switch 18 and 4. I don't know. Not sure Rob Zombies is that high for me. Probably H2O and then Rob Zombies. And then probably maybe 3 and 6. And then, man, ends will probably be down there for me. Oh, he didn't. Did he put Kills on here? He didn't even put Kills on here. I think Kills was pretty low on his list. She was in the hospital because she was filming Knives out at the same time. It was her deal. I know that. It was just stupid. Then don't make the deal. I mean, you got to have her in the first one, and then you have to write around her for the second one. Okay, if that's the case, and she's not going to be in it, introduce Corey in the second one. Take parts of these movies and start changing the pieces around, and put parts of Halloween Ends in Halloween Kills and parts of Kills in Halloween Ends. Have it to where Michael starts out strong at the beginning of Halloween Ends. And have it to where it's more like Cody said, it's spread over maybe 3 nights. It doesn't have to be on Halloween night every single time. But yeah, spread that shit out, and then mismatch some of the parts to where Michael is spread out more, and have it to where Corey gets introduced in the middle and then becomes like maybe he gets blamed, like I said, for some of the kills because of something that happens to him. You didn't have to have that kid dying. I think that was more them trying to have a shock moment at the beginning to distract you from what you were going to see for the next 30 minutes, which was nothing about Michael Myers. I see Halloween Ends, but the beginning didn't work out for me, but the ending was good. I've been waiting for Michael to die. Why was that? Why did you want Michael to die? I want this version of Michael, as old as he is and as much damage as he took. I was kind of assuming he would die, and really didn't. I didn't have a lot of people had a lot of venom about that, where they have been sending me messages anytime I post a video saying, well, he better not die. It'll be the worst thing the franchise could ever endure. And I'm like, well, I don't agree with that. But there's a way, obviously, you can bring Michael back. I was just talking to somebody the other day and said, reboot the damn thing after Halloween 5 and have it where Jamie Lloyd has got some children, and that Michael resurfaces. I was really pissed and disgusted how they treated Michael in his own franchise. He was a beast in Kills, and now they made him into a walking. Well, you know what that means. I hated Ends now. I appreciate Kills now. I will say that, yeah, most people appreciate Kills a hell of a lot more. And I joked at the beginning, you guys probably didn't see it. I went, yeah, you guys think that Kills was polarized, and you hadn't seen anything yet until everybody starts seeing Halloween Ends. He was stalking Laurie Strode for 40 years. Well, not in this timeline. He was in jail for 40 years. He's only been stalking her, and he wasn't stalking her at all. The doctor put him back in her path again in this timeline. But I understand what you mean, that it's a little ridiculous. But Jamie Lee Curtis made this trilogy more about her than Michael Myers. So I think that was another thing when Orlando says he was disgusted how they treated Michael in his own franchise. This was Michael's franchise up until 2018, and then it became Laurie Strode's franchise. She made this about her and her character getting closure. She wanted to be center to everything in this trilogy. David Gordon Green has The Exorcist on his mind. He could care less about Halloween. It was a package deal. Well, I know that, but like I said, I think some of his original ideas would have worked better than what he ended up with. Getting them to rewrite some of this stuff and turning it more into a thriller than a horror movie. I think Sup Orlando, and he said Sup Keith. Ends with shit like we thought. I don't think it was shit though. See, I mean, I'm not going to argue with you, but it wasn't as good as it should have been, but it was better than some of the other movies, in my opinion. But so somebody asked me this. They were like, "But you're a diehard Michael Myers fan." Well, I'm not a diehard Michael Myers fan. I love the first Halloween, but not just because of Michael Myers, of everything. The Did I miss? I'm just making sure I didn't miss any comments. I don't think so. Nope. So I'll just tell everybody, if you rewatch it again, just try to find a positive in there, like I always do. I said that. Watch my Monsters review, though. I didn't find anything positive about that movie whatsoever. It was never hers to begin with. If Akai was still alive, this wouldn't happen. He would have killed her off again, and I would have loved that. I don't know. Do you realize? You really think that as woke as shit is, and as much control as people like Jamie Lee Curtis want to take, and they want to change the narratives, about horror movies, and they want to like snowflake it up and make it where it is. And not all the movies have the balls of like a Terrifier 2, and I still haven't seen that yet, or movies like that. I think it's Hollywood is more liberal now, and I don't know that. What's a good way to put it? I don't want to piss everybody off, but you see what I'm saying? Like it's a little bit soft now, is to the point to where we went for a stretch where every horror movie was PG-13. Nothing is hard edge. Just because if he had been alive, I think they still would have went down this path of softening it up and not being because look at like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot they did. Other than the one scene on the bus, the massacre part, that whole fucking thing had like shit dialogue, everything about it. The plot was garbage. Just Hollywood doesn't know how to make good horror movies anymore. Have a good night. Yeah, peace, brother. Appreciate your support. No more comedies. Everyone is offended. Yeah, that's true, man. You couldn't make, like, they got some woman who wants to reboot the American Pie series. Do you really think that you would get American Pie? Look at what they did with the Hangover movies. The first one was more of a raunchy comedy, and then the third one was more of an action movie. I mean, just over the course of that decade where those movies were coming out, or 6 or 8 years, they softened those things up. There's no room anymore for hard edge stuff. The community I live in didn't even show Terrifier 2 at the theater. I'd have to drive almost 2 hours to see it. They don't show unrated movies at either of our theaters around here. So I'm surprised that the one thing, even the couple of kills that were in Halloween Kills that made it through, were worse than probably the other ones that would have been off camera. Why didn't they show more? Like, you had Michael stomp Sartain's head in multiple times, but in this movie, Corey, you only saw the one stomp. The blowtorch in the face, you saw it was focused on the person's reaction laying beside it, and you saw it only from the side. Then you see the radio DJ, and he gets his head bashed in, and his mouth busted open, his jaw's broken open, and they cut his tongue off. That's way worse than some of the other stuff. Well, he could have told her to F off, and she wouldn't have been, and she would have been out of the Halloween franchise for trying to get revenge on him for H2O. I don't know. I still don't think so. I think the way Hollywood is now, they would have been all in on Jamie Lee Curtis wanting to come back. They know that's money. They know the fans want to see her. I think they would have been all in on Jamie Lee wanting to come back, because after H2O and Resurrection, she said she'd never do it again, and then she ended up, they got a decent enough script. So after watching it, did you guys watch my video? Do you still think that it was too close to Christine? I saw somebody talking about that, and they were talking about Halloween Ends, and they never mentioned the connections with Christine. I had to remind them after seeing it. It's literally Christine. A lot of Christine is in there. It's too close. Like I said, I think if you had sprinkled in a couple kills with Michael at the beginning, and shrink down the Corey parts a little bit, I really do think that the Halloween Ends would have been more well received. This new Halloween was awful, and I thought Corey was gonna Michael Myers in a wheelchair. No suspense with Michael ever lurking on every corner. Yeah, I'll give you that. It really wasn't hardly any suspense. And the moments of suspense that you did have, you'd already been ruined if you watched the trailers. Yeah, this movie is almost more of a thriller than it is a straight up slasher horror movie. Um, and like I said, you probably weren't on at the beginning. The one problem I've got is since they bait and switched you with the trailers and you thought you were getting a Laurie Strode versus Michael Myers movie for the whole 1 hour and 50 minutes. Why not switch it up to where Michael isn't as weak as he is, and when Corey kind of awakens the want to kill, have it to where you think Corey could possibly be doing the killing, but it's Michael. Maybe you don't always show the face. Having it to where Corey shows up in that stupid ass scarecrow mask and kills that doctor, and there's no, like you said, there's no suspense, and then Michael randomly shows up. Like, if you could have had it to where you didn't know which one of the two of them was doing the killing, and you had to figure out whether Corey was good or bad. How about having some suspense to that? Having it to where you legit every single time know whether it's Michael or know whether it's Corey. And does Michael he only gets 2 kills, right? That's pretty pathetic. The end was forced, 10 minutes scene that was pretty weak with Laurie. I liked the final execution of it. Pun intended, like he was executed. But have seen every single little nuance to it in the trailers ruined it. People should have known if once you see it, that if you saw the 90% of that final scene in the trailer, all the trailers mixed up, that you're in trouble, because what is the rest of the movie going to even have in it that's worthwhile? They only had that one scene where they interacted, and it was 10 minutes. Like you said, somebody said they thought that they should have had it where their final fight was a lot longer. What I thought what should have happened was have it to where Michael comes in and interrupts Corey, and then have it to where there's some struggle with them, and maybe it's ambiguous what happens to Corey, and Corey maybe redeems himself because he has to help Allison, or Allison gets in trouble with Michael and Michael comes after her first, and then have it to where Corey intercepts him and ends up getting killed by Michael to save Allison, kind of like he redeemed himself. I thought that would have been a lot better. Having no interaction other than Michael breaking his neck between Corey and Michael inside of Laurie's house was a total letdown to me. Like I said, I do like a lot about the movie, but it's pretty weak as far as a lot of the points. They didn't use the other ending with the 2 cars or trucks pulling the limbs apart. Yeah, I mean they didn't use a lot. All right, well, would you have rather had done the supernatural storyline where he died at the radio tower and Corey, the essence of Michael, gets in a Corey and he leaves? Or I heard one of the cuts had it to where Allison is the one who shoots Corey and he falls out the window, and then after the struggle with Michael and he dies, they look and Corey's gone and you don't know what happened to Corey. Would you have rather had that? Like, what could they have done anything to save this movie for you guys? I guess is a good way to put it. That part is fine, but it's advertised as a final showdown fight. Instead, we get a new character that I think could have worked if he was introduced earlier. I said the exact same thing. Take parts of this and put it in Halloween Kills. Take parts of Kills and put it in Ends. It's too jarring of a switch between the two styles of movies. The time jump of 4 years is ridiculous. I mean, we're smart enough to know the pandemic happened in the world. You could have filmed this and had it to where it was still over a same period of time or the next year. You didn't really legit need to jump 4 years just because your movies got delayed and didn't come out on schedule. I thought that was a little bit ridiculous. Yeah, I'd rather have seen one because Michael disappears after he dies. Yeah, that would have been cool. Having an open-ended to where, like I said, maybe might have liked that ending if they did film out where Corey falls out of the window or falls outside. Like I said, I do think Corey should have been ambiguous. He should have helped Allison. I think Allison should have been more in danger from Michael. She was really never in danger because Corey loved her. To me, if you wanted to add some kind of level of suspense, have it to where Corey thought Michael was quote unquote helping him, but then Michael ultimately comes after Allison first because he sees them together, and then have it to where Corey's like, well, shit, now he's after her and I got to save her. Then you start having the tension between him and Michael. But not having Michael in but basically 3 scenes, there's no chance of you ever even doing any of that. So, I mean, we could sit here and rewrite it over and over again. You guys actually might have changed my mind. This movie's like starting to be, I watched it and thought that I had prepared myself for how bad it was going to be. And that it was, I guess a way to put it is it was better than what I expected because I was expecting nothing. But sitting here talking about it for an hour or so, it's almost like now I'm torn again. Yeah, this movie is very polarizing. I don't know. It's going to be hard for me to rank this damn thing. And now I got to write a review in the next 10 days as well. So I don't know. What was your last comment? Introduce Halloween trilogy. Hey, what do you do? Are you going to review Halloween Ends on your channel? What do you think? And now that this whole Halloween debacle's over with, and I done spent like 2 damn months talking about Halloween, maybe I can get you on the channel and we can check his reviews out if you guys haven't. RWR movie reviews. Check out his channel. He does a lot of movie reviews and he's makes some good points. He and I are on the same wavelength about a lot of movies. So that'd be pretty cool. I told him I'd like to get him on the channel once all this Halloween nonsense is over. So I got a couple things. Yeah, I will review it. Yeah, I'll be interested in see. I think you're probably going to hate it a little more than I did, but it's probably, like I said, because I went into it knowing how it was going to play out. Somebody, if you haven't watched a lot of my Halloween stuff, or the live streams we did, somebody kept asking me, why do you want to be spoiled? Why do you want to be spoiled? Because of this. Once I heard that Michael was not going to be the focus, I was like, well, I got to know what it's going to be about. Because reading it and hearing somebody's description, if you guys knew how much of descriptions people had sent me during the last 2 months, 3/4 of what I got did not show up in the movie. So having to connect those dots was a lot. None of the other main characters were in danger at all. And that's another letdown. They should have had repercussions, but they all survived except Michael and Corey. Yeah, I agree. Do you think that would have been a cool concept? What I said, have it to where Corey's in love with Allison and unwittingly puts Allison in the path of Michael, and have it to where the first half of the movie, she's in danger because Michael's coming after her. Corey might be like, I don't want Allison to know that I had anything to do with it, but I want to protect her from Michael. But now he's scared because of, Michael has helped him, quote unquote, helped him. Build some kind of tension somewhere with some of these characters. Having it to where the only tension is whether Corey is going to be able to do anything or not. And I don't even think Corey ever intended on killing Lori. I think Corey's intention was have it to where Lori did exactly what she did, shoot him or injure him or whatever, so that Allison would think that the Lori is the monster. Yeah, that would have been better. Yeah, now that I think about it. But I also mentioned earlier, what happens if you had had it to where Allison got pregnant from the night they slept together, and it was on Halloween night, and he impregnated her with the next evil spawn, and it's going to be the one that Lori's going to, be like, you can't have the baby, and Allison has to run away because she thinks, Lori's going to end up trying to take her, make her have an abortion or kill her so that she can't have the baby. That would have been almost better than this. Have it to where at the end you find out that she's pregnant, and have it end like on a cliffhanger or something. But I might end up having to watch it again before I review it. But that just goes to show you how torn I am, because I was telling him the other night on his stream when I popped on here and we were talking, I told him, my favorite movie is Jaws and my second favorite movie is Halloween 78. But that doesn't mean that like if I was doing a top 20 or top 25 movies, that all the other Halloween movies are going to show up on there. I'm not like a Halloween fanatic. Probably none of them will be in my top 20 other than the first one. But either way, she shouldn't be in any more Halloweens, no more Strodes. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think she is. I think that actress would not want to get caught up in the whole same thing that Jamie Lee Curtis did. I think she's been in a couple other movies, and I think she's not going to want to be in any future Halloween movies. They're going to have to reboot this thing total from scratch, like Rob Zombie did, or they're going to have to come up with another timeline. And the perfect one right now to me is Halloween 5. Pretend like 6 didn't happen and have it to where Jamie got away and Michael's been in hiding. If you really wanted to hire James U. Courtney, you could hire him again because he legit would be the exact same age. Or you could have it to where, get another actor because he may end up wanting more money. Anybody that didn't know that's on here now, I was talking about it before. Ted White, who played Jason in Friday the 13th, the final chapter, passed away today. So rest in peace for him. That's pretty sad. I know Peter, when he was on here earlier, that's his favorite Jason. Mine is Kane Hodder from part 7, but I think part 4 Jason is probably right up there after that. Hearing the stories of how he fought for the actresses on set and was basically like a father figure to them, and what a stand-up guy he was, will make you really like Ted White. If you read about some stories about him, and you'll have a lot of respect for him. So yeah, he will be missed. Unfortunately, I never got to a convention to meet him. I met Kane Hodder and I got a couple things signed by him. And speaking of that, did you guys catch the Nick Castle cameo in Halloween Ends? What'd you think of that? Robbie Coltrane has passed away as well. Yeah, I saw that when I just flipped through. What I was doing was I was looking on my phone. I saw where somebody announced that. Wow. So it happens in 3. Shit, I hope it really doesn't happen this time. It means there's one more. Hopefully we won't lose anybody else. That's really sad. Yeah, but I wished I could have met Ted White. Speaking of Ted White, I was looking at his picture. You remember in Friday 4 when the machete splits his hand in half? That was pretty cool when Michael ripped his hand, when she pinned his hand down and basically crucified him on the table there. When he ripped his hand and it ripped his hand open and split his hand apart. That's kind of like ironic that's exactly what happened to Ted White's Jason. She hinted she might be back in the future for the timeline starts in the flashback from Kills. Would be awesome as a reboot before 2018. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, like you said, as long as there's no Laurie Strode anymore, I think we'll be good. Rebooted anywhere after 5. I don't want anything Thorn. If you've watched my reviews of the Thorn trilogy, I hated it. I don't like that aspect of it. I would rather not know what Michael's motivations are and where he gets his power than to think it's a cult controlling him. I just thought that was shit. I'd rather just not know what's controlling him at all than to think that it's that Thorn cult. The only thing cool about the Thorn cult is the fucking tattoo. And I keep saying I'm going to get that tattoo on my wrist. I really want to do that. I just haven't had the balls enough to do it. Well, other than Halloween Ends, dude, anybody seen anything else? I've got the opportunity. I'm gonna watch Smile probably this weekend, and I want to see Terrifier 2, but I'm not driving it. Does anybody know when Terrifier 2 is going to debut? I know Screenbox, the stream service, is going to show it. Has anybody said when that's going to actually be streaming? Because I'm not driving, like I said, 2 hours to see Terrifier 2. Did any of you guys go see Halloween Ends in the theater? And if you did, how was the number one? Was it packed? Was it Number two, what was the reception of the movie when it was over with? Like, did people cheer? Did people boo? I watched it on Peacock since I knew what was going to happen mostly. I knew I did not want to see that in the theater. I saw Halloween Ends. I give it 9 out of 10. The only thing I give a shit to teenagers is so annoying. You're talking about the theater. But look at there. There's your polar opposite there. We got 2 people in here that said it was dog shit, and we got 1 person giving it a 9 out of 10. That's why I love movies. The Steelbook comes out in Best Buy first week of December. I watched Ends at home. You talking about Ends? The Steelbook? Hey, I read Terrifier 2 Walmart is getting the Steelbook. Why would Walmart get Terrifier? I thought it was Walmart that was getting it. Terrifier 2 Steelbook. You sure it's Best Buy? Maybe they're getting their own. Or maybe is it getting a 4K? Because somebody sent me a link and it was Walmart that was going to have one of them. Either way. I watched Ends twice and I still feel the same way I felt the first time. Watching, I hated it. Really? So Brian there says it's a 9 out of 10. Tell us what you liked about it. I want to hear some positives because I got to do this review coming up in the next couple of days, and I don't. As of right now, I'm leaning, man, towards more positive than negative. Even though I understand hardcore fans why they would hate it. So, but I'm not gonna. That's not gonna weigh on me. I'm gonna be fair with my reviews. But Brian Sanchez, chime in. Come on, man. Tell us, what did you like about Halloween Ends? Why are you giving it such a high score? I want to hear your opinion. I love movies when you get total opposite reactions from people. Movies are so emotional. And people, I was telling somebody because they were like, why? My son likes sports, doesn't like a lot of movies like I do. And he's like, why do you like movies so much? Why do you watch them? And I'm like, there's so many different emotions you can have. Different movies can connect to different times of your life, almost like music. Watching a movie to me can totally change your mood. It can, if you get into it, it can take your mind off of other things that are going on that might be weighing on you. I mean, you can just disappear into a movie. I like the aspect of thinking about special effects. One of the videos I want to do, I was telling somebody this week, and I'm writing the review now. The ideas is how the movie Jaws and Halloween '78, how those 2 movies are really, really structured the same, and the similarities between the 2. It's uncanny. How, and maybe unconsciously, that's why they're my top 2 favorite movies, because of how close they are as far as the way they were made and different aspects of the film. So I'm not going to spoil what I'm going to say here, but watch out for that coming soon after this Halloween stuff's over. I got some good ideas for some movies that I'm going to review. And then I want to get back to doing a lot of the content that I was doing before that. Like I said, it was a catch-22. I got asked, I asked could I do the reviews in Halloween. I know my channel is small, and there's some other people that have larger channels, like, We Watch a Movie and Cody Leach, Drum Dums, some of the guys I watch. And they've all done rankings and they've all reviewed all these Halloween movies, and then they'll typically review them all. You'll get a review every couple of days from it. So I thought it was kind of cool to do one where, since I only had to do one a week, and I really wanted to put some effort into it, and I really wanted to be to try to do those skits and stuff, to try to learn how to write reviews better and use more editing techniques and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's the catch. But you did get inundated with a lot of Halloween content. If you don't like that, I had 1 or 2 of you complain that when you're ever going to see anything other than something about Halloween. So I do promise that you'll see more. I'm going to get off here in a second. And anybody that watches this today, tomorrow, whenever, I want to put a reminder on there. And I'm going to post a reminder tomorrow. My giveaway is going to be Sunday night. I'm closing it out at 6 p.m. on Sunday. If you're unaware, I'm doing 2 giveaways because of my 2-year anniversary, which was last Sunday, and I hit 1,600 subscribers. So the first giveaway is a Halloween giveaway. You get this unopened Blu-ray with the 3 movies, H2O, Resurrection, and Curse. And it's got the digital codes for those. And you get a shirt that's Halloween. And I'm not going to pull the whole damn thing out if I've already folded it. Let's see. Can I show you? Shit, I'll just open it. It's an extra large, so it's not for fat people like me. That's prize pack number 1. So anybody you got to be a subscriber, because if anybody does what I'm going to tell you, I'm going to look up to see if you're a subscriber. I'm going to look your name up on the list. If under my 2-year anniversary video, if you're interested in the giveaway, put your name under there and say, I want the Halloween gift pack. That's one prize. And then the other prize is, it's got to be under the 2-year anniversary video that I posted. It's real easy to find. Just go look back through the last couple of days of videos I posted. The second giveaway is I do a lot of Dollar Tree movie hunts. This is a Dollar Tree movie pack. You get this cool popcorn bucket, and it's going to have 12 movies in there, and I'll go over them real quick just for anybody that watches this later. You get the Bill Hicks story. That's 1 Blu-ray. You Get Out, which has been opened, but it is new. The plastic was ripped, so I took it off. You get Flatliners. You get a movie called Being. You get Survival of the Dead. You get Mary. You get Panic, which is Satanic Panic with the cool Walmart edited cover. And then you get 5 DVDs. Brains That Wouldn't Die collection. Shadowland, Rendell, High Moon, which is a horror movie, and Curse of the Phoenix. So that's 12 movies. So if you want that one, then go under the 2-year anniversary video and just say any comment and say which one you want. You want the Halloween bundle, or do you want the Dollar Tree bundle? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to close it off the comments. Anybody that's put a comment under that 2-year anniversary video, and like I said, I'll post a reminder tomorrow, a quick little short just to remind everybody. Put your name under there, put a comment which one you want. Closing it out Sunday at 6, and around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock Sunday night, probably 8 o'clock, I'm going to go online. Nobody has to show up, but I'm going to just do it live here. And I'm going to spin a wheel. Anybody whose name's on it, I'm putting it on there. And I'm not going to have it to where you can't comment that you want both of them. So the names will be separate. You can only ask for one. So I'll do the Halloween wheel, and then we'll do the Dollar Tree wheel, and I'm going to give away both of those prize packs. So that's to thank all you guys for supporting me. Enter it if you want. Like I said, 1,600 subscribers means a lot to me, because I was going to do it at 1,500, and because of the Halloween content, I actually did get a pretty decent amount of subscribers over the last month. I added like 100 and some. Pretty sweet giveaway, man. Thanks, buddy. And then yeah, and then I'll ship those out next week. So what I'll do is whoever wins, you just hit me up on Instagram or Twitter with a message, and then that way your address information isn't public. And you can share it with me, and we'll figure it out from there. Or I'll give you my email address if you don't have Twitter or Instagram where you can chat with me. But all right, well, I've done a whole lot of talking. I'm gonna got to the point where I'm gonna need to refresh my beverage here in a minute. So if you guys don't have any more comments, I think I'm gonna probably get off of here. I never got an answer from O'Brien there, so put a comment under the video when it posts, or go to one of my shorts that I just did with my reaction of Halloween Ends, and let me know why you thought Halloween Ends. He was bold enough to come in here and say that he thought it was a 9 out of 10. than other than those teenagers in there were annoying. Well, that's fine. Yeah, they were annoying, and they got their ass killed in the movie too. So either way, well, I appreciate everybody that showed up here. I like having some lively chats. It's pretty cool when it's not just me doing all the talking. Have a good night, brother. Enjoy the talk. You too. Always appreciate your support. I always appreciate the good chatter back and forth with movies. And hey, I was considering it since this movie's so polarizing. I know I mentioned it on there when you and I were chatting. I might, even if nobody wants to participate, next week I might do a watch along with Halloween Ends on here. So yeah, hey, if you I'm going to do a watch along maybe next week for the live. If we can't think of anything else, we can talk about anything we want, and I'll have it playing in the background, and we'll line up anybody wants to be watching it at the same time. I'll announce it during the week. Any of you guys ever want to pop on here while we're doing that, can come on here and we can, I'll put you on here and you can talk live with everybody. If anybody wanted to join in, you can let me know. But if I decide to do that, I'll post during the week. I won't wait till the last minute. I'll actually do it in the middle of the week and let everybody know. So, but like I said, I appreciate everybody. Support me any way you can. This video or anything I post, always like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that normal YouTube stuff. You guys know I appreciate it, and I love talking to you guys. So I'll close it out as I normally do. Until next time, boys and girls, this is JEFFMAN316, your pop culture reporter, signing out saying, you guys be safe out there.
Mr. Mayor, Chief, ladies and gentlemen.